Um, well, let's see. I was abducted last night. Um, yes, I was abducted, and there's a little bit of paranoia going on about everything because I'm not getting what I want. And what I want would be to be happy and safe, to be married to Chris Evans and Colin Christensen, and living in harmony with my sister and her family. It's Saturday, maybe go to Chuck E. Cheese, with my family today or something. Just an idea. Or the other one, I can't remember the other one, but you guys know the other one. Jill's or something it's called. Jack and Jill's or whatever. You guys know the one I'm talking about. Something like that. Go out for some pizza, talk about their jobs, how their lives are going, hang out with the kids. That's what I want. And that's not what's happening. So I'm being pulled out. I'm being abducted in my own video game, which means I'm getting more Earth codes to protect me, um, to leave Earth, basically. So that's what that means. I think you guys are going crazy at work right now, and I heard it's getting like really intense at work right now, and I'm noticing that I'm not hearing any weird things from Weird Lady, who's insistent that she's Alyssa, and she's insistent that she's as good as Alyssa. Just take me, I'm definitely as good as Alyssa. Um, but I don't hear anything from her today. And we are talking about how New Jersey becomes an abandoned state. Excuse me. I might puke. It's freezing out. It's literally freezing. Yeah, I was pulled on ship, and it was like a gigantic plane. And then I walked to my seat, and I saw my husband, uh, Brandon Lee. And I haven't seen him in a while. And it was very nice to see him. And he was very much noir. He was very much uh, I don't think he had hardly any color. I think he was like all black and white, like a black and white version of him, from a black and white movie. And I was like, oh my God, Brandon, I'm so happy. And I was partially lucid in the dream as well with Brandon. And he had like clown makeup on. It was different than the crow. Um, and I was hanging out with him, and obviously I was making out with my husband, Brandon Lee, um, which is like not really the biggest deal to me. I mean, it's like obviously a big deal because I'm in love with my husband after like billions and billions of years, eons of years, or whatever. But I'm like always so happy to see him. But I know it's like a big deal to you guys, is what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is it's a big deal to you guys that I'm married to Brandon Lee, and it's it's like a big deal to me that I'm married to my husband. That's the difference. So, so, um, the congratulations list. Yeah, I know. Look at my beautiful wedding, guys. It's like almost like nothing's there. It's like almost like my wedding's not happening. And I cried about this morning. I was like crying. I was like, I'm never gonna get married because of the stupid Earth always fighting back me. And I was like crying about it again. I was like, I'm just never gonna get married because for Earth constantly fights back against me. And there's obviously protocol to protect us, right? I mean, why would you continue to do anything like this anyway? And then I was also watching like my cousins getting pulled out too, and they started turning into like an AI program. I was watching that this morning. Sort of like turning literally into like AI, like an AI, like a chat GBT like version of themselves. Like if somebody went to chat GBT and like made an animation of them on like a YouTube channel or whatever, and like you it's like really, really clear that you're talking to chat GPT. And like half of his video was like chat GPT and like half of his video was like his human self. And it was like super, super obvious. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. They're going to turn humans into like literally AI, like chat GPTs. It's like to make it clear, like you're literally dealing with like an AI video program and not human beings anymore. And Fresh is like, I'm sleepy. They're working on the kitchen, because this is their house, and that's the improvements they want to do. And anyway, so I was pulled off planet onto ship with Brandon last night. Told you it looks like a gigantic plane. And my abductions, okay, Ryan always says like they dumb the abductions down to make them like more soft or whatever and like more palpable. Like he always says like if you're like on a plane or whatever, you're on like a spaceship, and like if you're at an airport, like you're traveling through space and time. Like it's not necessarily like a human airport on Earth and whatever, because it's on overlay and it's like sometimes like what humans can like comprehend or something, but it's still like an abduction. But like my abductions are usually like big time abductions with like aliens, like actual aliens, actual grays, actual reptilians, actual Lyrans, da 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 da, like so on and so forth. But obviously, I don't really care because I was with Brandon, and like I was making out with him and I was kissing him, and then all this like black like dirt started coming up, um started coming up like it wasn't puking, but it was coming up from inside of me, all this black dirt, and I was like pulling out all this black dirt, pulling it out. And it was literally a it's literally the same thing that happened to me last year when I was making out with Colin, um, on a ship. He kissed me, and then this long plastic straw came out of my mouth. And like my first thought was like, oh my God, this is so not sexy. Like this is so not sexy. And like Colin's staring right at me, like laughing as I'm pulling this long plastic straw out of my mouth. And I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing, Colin. It was basically like the same thing. Like, well, I think he kissed me, and then the black soot started coming out of my mouth. And he walked away, so he didn't see it. But I was like, oh my God, I have to get like all this black. It wasn't goo. It was literally like black grains of dirt coming out of my mouth. And I was like, I have to get all this like black dirt out of my mouth before I kiss Brandon again. That was like my first thought. So it was like literally like the same thing. It's literally the fucking same ass thing with a different husband on a different timeline. And I was like laughing about it to myself. And I was like having the same exact reaction. Like, this is not sexy. Like, get it out of your mouth. But it's their job. You know, it's their job as my husband, as my space father. Um, it pulls all of the toxins out of my body, and that was him pulling toxins out of my body. And so yeah, so that was on ship, and it was just funny because it was like the same exact thing as last year. So last year I married Colin. This year I'm marrying Brandon. I would say that that was like the beginning of our wedding. And I had all these rings when I was on Space Codes for a couple of days. I had all these rings starting to appear out of nowhere. I think they appeared in the inner world, but they were quite visceral and quite real. And it was all these like beautiful heart engagement rings. Um, all different types of heart engagement rings. He gave me like 10 or something like that. And they were half from him and half from mommy. And we were wondering why they were like half from him and half from mommy and not just like all from Brandon. And, but that, I guess those are all my rings from Brandon, because that seems to be the direction of this abduction. And I was like partially lucid. I remember like saying things that were like partially lucid in the dream. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm starting to get lucid again. Um, I mean, how long have we not been lucid? It's been really annoying for us. Um, what else happened? Oh, I saw Jimmy Fallon turn into a ghost. Like he was working and then it's like he felt it coming and then all of a sudden he was a ghost, but it was obvious instead of it not being obvious. Like, what am I looking at? If everybody's ghosts, but they're still solid, like what am I looking at? And he turned into like a translucent ghost. And there was like a few versions of that. Like one where like he was translucent, but his clothes were still solid, and then one where he was all translucent like a ghost. And I was just like, you guys are literally ghosts on a ghost planet, and you probably do see it. Some of you probably do see it that you're translucent. And like, what are you doing on Earth paying bills and going to a job as a ghost? What makes you think you have to do that as a ghost? So, we are taking sugar water shower. It's a song. Doo doo. Okay, what else? What else? What else? What else? Tartaria. Okay, so Tartaria, I called to Trump for help last night because I was just like, why does any of this have to happen? Let me call to Trump for help again and just see if he can help us and make things right in the world and send me a pink Bentley. And I just love Trump, guys. I fucking love Trump, okay? And I know that must be weird because I'm a liberal, right? My nature is to be a liberal, but Trump is one of the Trump helped me so much during his presidency, when I was going through major space codes and major upgrades, to bring the New World Order down on Earth. And he was an amazing assistant. I hate saying stuff like that, but I got to fold the stupid women that would say stuff like that and embarrass their grandpop. Um, but anyway, he helped me so much when I was going through space codes. I used to get this gigantic itching, burning feeling in my forehead. And Trump would always be on the TV, like at work. There would just be like TVs everywhere and Trump would be on it. And I just remember like looking at the screen and, and Trump being like, stay calm, stay calm, stay calm. It'll go away, Liz, it'll go away. And like he was so comforting. And during his presidency, he just knocked it out of the park and he was so comforting and he was so amazing. Like he really, obviously, he was like very, harsh and um, hard to listen to the first half of his presidency. And then he really turned around. He went to the A sphere and he turned around. He listened to me and he turned around immediately. And he just became my buddy after that. And we grew together during his first presidency, during his first term. And I'm just so grateful that he was in the White House and that he knocked it out of the park. I think that it showed great leadership is possible, even if you're prone to making mistakes or you're prone to, you know, just making mistakes or whatever. Because I think we knew that Hillary would have knocked it out of the park, right? It's like we knew that Hillary's my favorite. Obviously Hillary's my favorite, and it showed such amazing personal growth in an individual named Donald Trump that I was so grateful that he got to be presidency. And Hillary and I agreed, like he knocked it out of the park. He did a great job and he's doing the best he possibly can this time too. And if you took a moment to ask me how I felt about Trump, I might have told you that, my honest feelings, instead of you assuming that just because I'm a liberal I must hate Trump or whatever. And I actually thought he's a pretty good guy, and my fondness grows for him as this term goes on. And yeah, and obviously I love Melania. She's the best. And so anyway, if Kamala won, she would have probably done great as well. Obviously, we love Kamala. Kamala. Obviously, we love her, and I'm sure she would have done just as great. But anyway, I called to him last night for help, and they immediately started fantasizing about gross tendencies to affect Trump in a negative manner. And then I just called to the general public for help after that, you know, that we need to help Trump because he's trying to do the right thing and we're being subverted by the subterfuge of the Union, which is leading to a Tartarian experience, which is against our will. And it's a very sad movie. And um, it's it is what it is. um I'm just saying the love I have for these people who are genuine and trying to turn their lives around is really what keeps me going in these really hard times where I am struggling to trust myself and to trust my friends and to trust my family and to trust the process and to trust space God and to trust that everything's going to be okay and to trust losing things in this reality will easily be replaced and stuff like that. It's, all my faith and everything. And I lean on the faith of humans. And when it's returned to me, it really makes me way more hopeful. And I'm very grateful as the princess from space um, to all these humans for their kindness. So, thank you, Trump. So, Tartaria, I hate it when they wipe my mind. It's like I don't know what I'm thinking, and then they just like wipe my mind. I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. So there was like a lot of space codes that came in yesterday, and they were more pleasant, but they were more on the inner world instead of the in the room in the outer world. So it was more light. Tartaria, I think we were asking Trump for clarity in Tartaria and what happened, or how New Jersey became an abandoned state. Um, because he's president, he probably got some of these codes ahead of time. Okay, that's sort of how it works. And so, how New Jersey became an abandoned state was it just kept failing year after year after year to honor me, the princess from space, and to honor the queen from space, which is different people um, that are starting to be fully embodied Melinas. And congratulations to you if you are becoming a fully embodied Melina. Congratulations. Um, I guess that's who I was talking to all year was the women that are willing to go through the process and turn into fully embodied Melinas to help do their part in this game that we call life. um, okay, so so they start becoming ghosts. Clearly, New Jersey starts becoming ghosts. They start realizing that they're actually dead. They start realizing what I'm saying. Like, why am I going to work and paying bills if I'm actually dead? And then they start actually becoming translucent. And um, and as a conglomerate state, they fail over and over. I mean, if you're a ghost, it's just like what. So anyway, I think that's how New Jersey becomes an abandoned state. They just become translucent and then they become vapor. And that's basically Tartaria and a failed Tartarian state, a failed Tartarian state. It's called respecting the prin um, before respecting the princess and after respecting the princess. It's like respecting the princess and after disrespecting the princess, basically. And you can see failed Tartarian states all over the world. Some are in Russia, Siberia, where it's extremely cold, and Antarctica, where it's frozen. China has a bunch of completely abandoned cities that look really extremely high tech. If you look at them, if you look at the architecture, they look very high tech and very sophisticated. And it's completely abandoned. And it's like, why does nobody live here in this beautiful Chinese city? You can just Google it, like abandoned Chinese city, and it literally looks like Tartaria, and it's like gorgeous. And it's like, um, I think North Korea probably has some Tartarian states as well. Clearly, North Korea is Tartaria. Um, looks like a Wes Anderson film. If you look at North Korea, it literally looks like a Wes Anderson film. Their architecture, that's a sign of Tartaria. And so that's how New Jersey became abandoned. And I guess it's abandoned right now, but I'm like, what am I like? There's people driving around, there's people in the house, like it doesn't seem abandoned. Who am I dealing with? What am I dealing with here if it's abandoned? Why am I dealing with paperwork if everything's abandoned? Why do I have to continue my 3D pursuits if New Jersey is a completely abandoned state? Make it make sense. It doesn't make any sense. Um, why are my friends seeing it as abandoned, but I'm not? Like, how is the timelines different like that? And I know that I was pulled back 2 years in time, but still, it's just interesting to see, like, what am I looking at? Like, who bought me these tissues if New Jersey is an abandoned state? I didn't go out to the store and buy these tissues. Who bought these Clorox wipes if it's an abandoned state? I clearly didn't go to the store. So, very interesting dichotomy of faith, very interesting cognitive dissonance there, very interesting, earth madness there, marble madness, if you will. And it's really confusing. It's really confusing because it's like, why am I doing these 3D things? Why am I doing these 3D things if Jimmy Fallon's an actual ghost? So you already know why. No, I don't really know why. Why am I doing these 3D things if Jimmy Fallon's a ghost? It doesn't make sense. Um, so, ugh. So, yeah, it's basically the same exact thing that happened last year as happening this year, and trying to stay calm because nothing's real. Um, last night I had in the inner world, I usually have people, organic people, watching my windows for me, like on lookout, and I think it's my 1D life interacting with me. and bleeding through. And they're always like on the lookout. They're always like standing at the windows. I always have the windows like half open, half closed. And they're always organic people standing at the windows, looking out the windows like they're guarding me. And they're like, she needs to be guarded on 1D. Also, Bitcoin started filling in. And I already told you guys Bitcoin's from 1D because of the fighting back in Tartaria. And um, that's causing 1D to fill in. And I'm seeing them standing at my window guarding me. And then last night in the inner realm, when I closed my eyes, I saw Joel, Pedro Pascal, Pedro Pascal, Pedro Pascal, um, standing at my window, and he was guarding me last night. And I forget what he said, but he's doing way, way better. His training's going way better. Um, I'm sure it does have to do with Miss Bella. Um, and he was he was really great last night. He was really great as a guard. Um, I'm trying to think what else happened last night. There was probably other things, but I don't remember it all. And then I was abducted, and then I woke up and was remembering being abducted to Mars and the natural version of Mars, and meeting Chris Evans there, and the warm, unconditionally loving codes that we felt there. And just being with Chris and everything. And then there's that drawing that I showed you guys, the painting of my sister, and she's also on Mars, and the tigers that defend her on Mars. And I was talking to Chris about it this morning, how she's always my sister on every planet because of all the paintings. It's me and Chris Evans, me and my husband, and then me and my beautiful sister Claire being defended by amazing tigers, these big ass tigers on Mars. Of all the paintings, it's like me and my special people. And I was like, wow, Claire's already on Mars. She already exists on Mars. And I was like, I think she's literally always my sister. I think she's always my sister on each and every single planet. And that was definitely partial codes to me being pulled out. Um, so me being pulled out is definitely still dripping in. And I'm just like, if you guys are ghosts, why do you go to work and pay bills? Why do I have to pay bills? Like, how does that correlate? And if you guys are like getting money, from film noir, then why do you go to work and pay bills? Like, why do you do all this stuff? Like, how does that correlate? Like, what is the correlation? Oh, yeah, and how natural Earth is fighting back here. I think I forgot that part about Claire. No, I did say that Claire sending a stampede. Um, Claire being in charge of New Energy Earth down here, and her being able to send animals and send a stampede, and it's basically the same thing on Mars. She became the queen of natural energy Mars, and now she's the queen of, or the princess of natural energy Earth down here. And how much it correlates is crazy. It's so fucking crazy how it's like literally the same exact story. And um that's like literally her kingdom that protects her is the animal kingdom. And it's just like amazing to think about. It's just amazing to think about that, I guess. that it's like the same process. um, sounds like a spaceship's going over top of me, and I'm like listening to it. Um, yeah, so that's how it becomes like a fallen state, which can lead to a fallen planet. Um, yeah, and I think right after I married Colin last year is when I got hit with really intense space codes. I think that's the order of how it went. I remember being catapulted to my void last year for like a second. Like remember literally like being like catapulted to my void, shoved in my void for literally like 1 second, and then coming back down to earth, and then, normal dreams again. And then I remember kissing Colin. He was sparkly scalar waves. And then I think right after that is when I got hit with space codes out of nowhere. Very like intense space codes with Adam Driver in his destroyer above me. And the huge clearing that went on. And we thought that would be enough. We always think it would be, it'll be enough to make you guys stop going crazy and stop listening in and doing things against our will. Like taking Colin's words out of his mouth and using them as your own words. And making yourself go crazy. And I constantly warn you, don't do it. It'll make you go crazy. Going against your own will. Since I'm the only thing, I'm the one molecule. It's your own will. It's because there's one molecule. It will literally make you go crazy, and we try to help you and say that you don't want to do that to yourself. It's pain and suffering and intense inducing, and I heard that it's extremely intense in society right now at whole and at large. And listening to me and going against me or using my codes against me will definitely um, make you go crazy. And I constantly tell you that. And that's why I try not to. It's like I'm talking to myself on YouTube. There's not that many viewers or whatever. So I know if you're listening to me over walls, that you're doing it sneakily and you're doing it partially against me and it's partially to hate on me. And it's like you wonder where that road's going to take you. And I keep telling you where that takes you. And I don't know what else to say about that. It's like you're obviously listening to me over walls if my views are extremely low. So I mean, this already happened and it doesn't need to happen again. I don't know how many times I have to say that. It's a loving paradise that you're living in right now. And you don't have to turn yourself into ghosts. You don't have to suffer greatly. You don't have to suffer great intensity. You know, how many times, do I have to say it? And I remember this one girl at Hasbro in a meeting. She said to me, "I'm going to rip your dress off of you." And I was just like, and this was like right before I think it was happening then, but obviously it got way more intense. And it was due to literally her saying that literally out loud with her mouth, not in telepathy. She literally said it out loud with her mouth. I'm gonna rip your dress off of you. I'm gonna rip your dress into pieces. Something like that. Literally looking right at me, saying it in a meeting with other people around, having the complete confidence to say that not even to a princess from space, but literally to another coworker, another human, being that aggressive and that I mean that's saying sexual assault with your mouth in a professional setting. And I couldn't believe she said it to me. And I was like, "Did you say you're going to rip my dress off of me?" And she like started laughing and like walked away or something like that. I was just like, this is so insane. I just remember when people were literally going insane at work and saying these things to me out loud with their mouth. And I was just like, I can't believe how unsafe work is providing me, um, with such an unsafe environment. And, you know, it got way more intense after she said that to me. It got extremely intense after she said that to me with her mouth. And it's like you're still doing it. And it's just like why do you want to be so aggressive and mean to like literally, if you know what I mean, at that time, another human being, another person that you're working with, a coworker that you're working with, someone you're being held responsible to be professional with, and you know that HR is there, you know that you can be reported for that, you know that that can like, go down in history as like you being an aggressive sexual harassing person at work. And I was just like, what? Like, that's so crazy. Um, and like you guys, it's like we gave you another chance, and you wasted it. It's like we let you live and you wasted it. That's just a quote. Okay, that's just a proverbial quote from Last of Us, and I changed it to me. It's like we gave you guys another chance and you wasted it. You wasted it. And you're wondering why it's getting more intense at work, and it's like why would you think that treating another human being without respect is okay, basically. Um, it's like crazy to me that you're so bold in your aggression towards me. It's crazy to me that it's so bold how much you want to hurt me, and very aggressive about it. It's like all bets are off when Chris Evans is coming to the office to pick her up every day after work, right? It's like I didn't see that. I saw myself as a single person or whatever, but um it's like They're like, stay positive, Alyssa, it won't happen again. We didn't say that it won't happen again. We said, let's discover if it'll happen again, basically. We're like, it's just like, wow, like, I don't understand why you want to treat other people with such disrespect and like wonder what's going on earth. And clearly, she didn't give a crap about her bills when she would say like something like that to me, you know, out loud with her mouth at work. She doesn't care about her bills. She doesn't care about like her family. She doesn't care about like a healthy, wholesome, um, kind life when she's saying things like that, literally out loud with her mouth in a meeting with other people around. She doesn't care about anything really, except like being aggressive in an office setting towards another human being that's prettier than her. It's it was so bizarre. I was just like I was shocked. I was so shocked um at that meeting, and it got quickly very intense shortly after that conversation. Um so it's like the aggression is it's the aggression is not needed, I want to say if you want to hurt people for a living, you should probably sign up for the army or something. You should probably sign up for the military and go to war. Use your aggression in a healthy manner. You know, clearly that was a sign of World War III in the office all the way back then in 2017. It's 2025 and it's getting worse. It's giving my friends panic attacks. We clearly have no idea why. Um, yeah.